Aaron Macy, we're back.
We're back, buddy. How are you? Dom Dollar. You were last week. You were ready to rock and roll. You had the sunnies. You had the Mr. H sunnies on.
Yeah, I was ready to rock and roll. I may as well went to Univos and stood in the Hawkesbury River with a fucking speaker. It was chaos. It was just that wet. Still had fun, but it was just like they couldn't have put the bar in a worse spot. It was just at the bottom of the hill. There was a river flowing through, water up to my shins. But you know what?
Did it add to the experience or take away from the experience?
It was okay. It was like being on ice skates, trying to go to the Portaloo to have a piss. People were slipping over everywhere. Had the ponchos on, the raincoat.
Yeah, everyone loved the poncho photo.
Had the perfect spot.
Yeah.
Like the perfect spot. And then as soon as flight facilities finished, it was just like sardines. So I went and stood 150 metres back, probably watched 2/3 of the set and got out of there before the chaos of trying to get an Uber out of there.
And you went
but the night didn't end.
Yeah, there it was.
The night never ends there, mate.
Are there rumours you might have caught up with ex-South Grade? Is there any rumours? No? Where did you
Oh, yeah. I was just like, you know what? I'm just like Terry Lamb, the best support player when it comes to going out. I backed up. I back up, and I back up. But you know what? It was fun. My shoes came through not too bad after a bit of a wash in the cycle.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was fun. I said it was my last one. I nearly went again on the Saturday. I was that close to getting another ticket.
Well, by when again, like straight through?
Oh, no.
You had a little kip?
No, I had a kip. But tickets became available and I nearly went. But yeah, recovered. We're straight back in the gym on Monday. And here we are, mate.
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
Monday.
Monday night. Did a deck of cards, mate. The old deck of cards.
Deck of cards.
Which is tough.
I couldn't do half a deck of cards.
And here we are, mate. Thursday and I'm back.
You are
quiet this weekend. I've got a few...
Define quiet.
No, nothing. Christmas party next week. Christmas party the week. The Christmas party I've got on the 20th for Mr. Wong's. It's a loose clubber-lang. Me, Braith, Mace, Craig Gower. Oh, my God. I haven't seen Gowie for years. Luke O'Donnell.
Oh, I caught up with Lukey the other day. Went for a little walk down.
Yeah.
Interesting. He reckons he's torn his calf. I don't know how when you don't run.
Have you seen the size of his calves?
Mate, he's a monster.
Bigger than my quads.
He is so big.
Yeah.
He's just...
So I've got more anxiety about the 20th at Mr. Wong's with that crew than I did for Dom Dollar. But it is the festive season, mate. How was your weekend?
Mate, my weekend was... I said I was going to have a quiet weekend and then ended up out. You know what happened? So I'm going to have a sober weekend. And I got to a friend of mine. We filmed here and he called me as I walked out the door and says, let's just get a quick bite to eat at Sushi. And then we just migrate the hemisphere from there and up to and then it just flows.
It just tends to happen.
And then
it's like the Hawkesbury, it just flows. It's like Dom Dollar.
Mate, our little mate Baz down in Coogee, we were meant to go and I said, I'm not drinking Sunday. That Friday, Saturday was unexpected.
Yeah.
We just went for one at the Pav that was meant to turn into sugarcane dinner. And no, it's the festive season.
It is, mate.
See what happens when you have footy to come home to?
I don't need footy.
Yeah. Nothing saves you.
Nah.
All right, let's a bit of an announcement.
Yeah.
Laurie Daley, New South Wales coach.
Yeah, bit of a shock.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised at first. It's taken a few days to let it sink in and sort of analyse the situation. I thought maybe Matt King might have got an opportunity. I'm just really... I was concerned, right? That Loz, he has a very relaxed temperament. Like he's not that sort of siege mentality kind of person. You know, he hasn't got the Madge kind of fear factor that everyone knows about in terms of his approach to coaching. But then I looked at his record and 6-9, 6 wins, 9 losses against the best Queensland team to ever be assembled. You know, that ain't too bad, right?
Definitely.
A lot of the guys that play now weren't even born when Loz was playing, right? So Laurie Daley, like, to me, is just a god. You know, there was him, the Pearl, Steve Renoff, probably E.T. They were the best in and away swerve sort of players. You know, the Green Machine. So
I'd love to be on him in a photo finish.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. But in terms of his playing status, I'm just like, I love Loz. Coaching, I was like, maybe he's a little bit too relaxed for that arena.
He does come across as very laid back.
Yeah, very laid back, right? But then he brings in Bellyache. And I think that's a great choice to be to oversee, right? Now, I don't think Belly's there to give out tip sheets and come up with plays and how to beat Queensland, but he gives that, or he gives the coaching or that playing group that authoritarian sort of figure, right? Because you can look back at what Bellyache has done from a player's perspective, and there's that one clip of Bellyache when he scores a try and he pops his shoulder out and he looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's hilarious. Like, he scores a try, he's coming off with shoulder pads and a dislocated shoulder. But what he does bring is an unbelievable playing record. You've seen his blow-ups in the coach's box. So just to have...
Can you imagine his blood pressure?
Oh, yeah, it'd be through the roof.
Just during he goes to the doctor for his regular check.
For sure, he'd be on pills during the game.
He'd be fucked.
He'd be on Xanax.
Honestly,
it still blows up.
I reckon you know how they've got all the different... They should just have a screen that's just on him the whole game.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. But for him to oversee, right? And I think what he brings is like that short-term advice for Loz in terms of bonding. I think he'll give him that siege mentality advice, give him tips on interchange,
but is it
tips on bonding. I don't think he's there to coach, right? I think he's just there to oversee. Well, can you imagine him giving a tip sheet out against Munster and Harry Grant? You know, he wants to win a premiership. That's his priority. But to bring him in, the players can still have that kind of respect when he walks in the room, and they'll have respect for Loz, and they're there for business. But the foundations that Madge built to take him out to Blue Mountains and create that real siege mentality was what we needed as New South Welshmen. Like, we don't get him out of Coogee, get him out of, walking around barefoot and all that hippie shit. But
Freddie needs to get back on the pitch.
Yeah. But I think now that we've had a few days to sort of take it in, Bellyache. If there was no Bellyache, I'd be a little bit concerned.
I just think, and you tell me if you're wrong, you need to be a great motivator. And that was what Madge was incredible at doing.
Yep.
And is he the right motivator? Like, I just don't know. As you said, like, you need to motivate. This is, like, we only just got the job done almost against that Queensland. Yeah, we flogged them second game. Third game, pretty close. That wasn't nowhere near the best Queensland side. Like, I don't want to take away from what we did because it was great seeing us do it. But injuries aside, I think they're going to be able to field a far stronger Queensland side than what we did last year.
Well,
this year.
We had no Latrell game 3. We had no Cleary. We had players missing as well.
We did.
So I just feel like it's almost that good cop, bad cop. He'll have his own way of motivating. Bellyache will have his own way to oversee, to say, hey, Loz, maybe try this, try that. Is he the most successful coach? No, Wayne is one of the most successful coaches ever. And just to have him in the room to oversee, not have too much input in terms of game plan, Bellyache was the right choice. But it was a shock. It was a big shock for everyone, for Loz to get the job again. But I don't think there was too many candidates putting their hand up, right?
Could you see Jimmy Dimmick as a New South Wales coach?
Jimmy's a very relaxed kind of coach as well.
Is he?
Yeah, he definitely do a job.
He's a good motivator though, isn't he?
Well, like, again, I mean, I think because the players wouldn't have seen Jimmy play, like people like myself who have tremendous respect for the guys in the 90s, because that's what I grew up watching.
Yeah.
It just doesn't give you the same feel when you walk in a room. When you walk in a room with Laurie Daley, they all know that he's a potential Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But when you see Bellyache out of the corner of your eye, it gives you that extra bit of motivation to go, oh, shit, Billy's there. We know what Bellyache's like.
But
and
will he be there though, or is he just going to be?
He'll be there to oversee and just give tips. His experience in a team environment is second to none.
Yeah.
He knows how to motivate, how to bond, just little tips on interchange. Are the players doing too much? Have they not done enough? I don't think he's going to be that person that's just going to take over the room.
No,
he's just there to advise. He's what his role is, and the title of his role is just to oversee. Yeah. And I think he's the perfect person to carry on what Madge has already built.
What he started.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So we're winning again next year.
Yeah, we can't. We're going 8 in a row. We're going 9 in a row.
We're going 9 in a row.
Yeah. Look, given everyone is injury free, we had a lot of injury throughout the Origin series and the Pacific Test and the Australian team. So
yeah,
I think that and another thing that his selections, because someone like Bellyache, he'd know a lot about players, a lot of feedback from his assistant coaches that he'll be able to give Laurie some tips on the dynamic of the side. He won't need to make too many changes. But having someone like Bellyache next to him, I think they played together. In the. Oh, no,
they did. They did play. No, they did. He said he played together.
Yeah.
All right, we move on. This is one we've probably spoken about a little bit, but Terrell May's actually come out and had his piece, and he said he got a bit of a phone call, and he thought it was like a bit of a prank call, and Robbo pretty much saying, well, going to go a different way.
Yeah. It was surprising to everyone, and only, that's the conversation between Robbo and Terrell that they should keep pretty private. I hope it doesn't become public. Obviously, it's disheartening for Terrell to get that phone call because it's a tough call to have. When you think things are going all right and then all of a sudden you're out the door, then, you got to ask questions. I know, we ask questions, but you keep it private, man. Privacy's power. You don't want to be that person that comes out and goes, as much as you might want to against Robbo or any situation, you might want to just not throw them under the bus, but say, hey, if your ego gets in the way and then you say too much in the media, you don't want to have that stain on your name, as in Terrell, to not necessarily be a snitch, but just come out and start bagging someone, because you never know what bridges you could burn by doing that. So,
it's great, very sage advice. That's something my grandfather said. You never want to burn bridges because you never know when you need that person.
Exactly.
But it must be a tough one with your Seeker. It's pretty much that I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah,
where's that? You just had a good little Daffy Duck. I thought things are good. Been hanging out.
Yeah.
Gone.
What have I done?
What have I done?
Yeah.
Did you or anyone around ever get calls like that, or get the tap on the shoulder?
Yeah, I got the tap in 2013. The 2013 one from Sticky at Parramatta. Just the phone call, come to the office, we're going to move you on. I kind of wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed. I remember I sat the next week out against the next game because I felt like without going into it too much, I thought I was being a leader and a senior player where I challenged Ricky on something, and then he called me in the next day and said, "I'm going to move you on." And we had a mature conversation around it, and but that initial that initial news and to sit in the office and say, "Look, this is what we're going to do," it's disheartening, and we had an agreement that I'd move on, in 2014 when I had no contract, 4 weeks after the grand final, again, that it's not something that you prepare for, right? Because at that point in my life, I was an older player. I didn't have...
How old are you at that stage?
I was like 30, 32, but I had 31, 32, but I had every club had spent their money and there was no room in the cap.
Yeah.
So that was tough. I took that. I held a lot of animosity against Des for years for that. But down the track, I got to sign. I went to England and I realised that for the development of me as a person, it was exactly what I needed to get out of Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the way it went down, but these things happen, man. Players, you're just a transaction. It's all business, right? You know, and people got to realise that it's when a player leaves, they're the worst person in the world. But clubs do it as well. You know what I mean? So
definitely,
it's all business.
But what's that? How do you deal with that? Like, how did you? So you get the call. When you first got the call, come to office. What was your feeling then?
Oh, I had no idea. You know,
Yeah.
that's just it's a shock to the system. You're thinking, well, all right, am I the reason the club's going so bad? You know, like you start asking questions, and I'm sure that's a conversation that Robbo and Terrell had, that these are the reasons at ABC, and whether you agree with it or not, it's for the benefit of the club.
Yeah.
You know? Club, team, player.
So
That's the order.
And so when from then, obviously I go in the conversation and being shot in the head in the office. But then, how do you go out? Do you go back to the team and go, boys, I'm out? Or
No, it was in the media the next day.
yeah,
It was like, but I had time to negotiate with another club. You know, Terrell had time to negotiate with another club. I went back to the Dogs. The 14 one, I was on tour, 214, and it was at the end of the season. So I didn't have time to negotiate with another club.
yeah,
that's
where
that's player welfare that you got to look after there. You know, like being an older
100%.
player, nothing to fall back on. All of a sudden, I'm, you know, a 31, 32-year-old with nothing to fall back on. I had 1 year left in my contract. So this is just some clubs, not all clubs. It's purely a business transaction. That's all you are to them. And the coach at the time made an investment on another player, and I happened to be the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Terrell's is a different situation, and like I just said, club, team, player, in that order.
Talking about club team player, there's been an interesting one. I think it's Josiah Pahulu.
Yep, Josiah Pahulu.
Yeah, Pahulu.
Yep.
We were having a chat about it before. 19 games, didn't play his 20, where he's meant to get the bonus.
Yeah, that's shit. And it just go, and look, that's just shit, right? That kid would be on minimum wage, right? He plays 19 games straight.
Yeah.
He gets a $40,000 bonus, and they decide to rest him on the 27th round. Like that kind of behaviour from a club, and we know who the coach is. Des, like that, he's known for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate Des as a player, and he's very smart as a coach, but when you start fucking around with people's lives and like financially as well, like what kind of bullshit is that?
Shit.
One game. Like you'd almost sit back and go, if he was out of form, right? As a club and as a board, you're trying to build, like, because that would annoy a lot of other players within the group.
100%.
That doesn't just affect that one kid. That affects the group. Because blokes be going like, well, you don't have his back. Well, you certainly don't have my back.
Mm.
Like the board should have just went, hey, look, all right, if he's out of form, he's played 19 games, let's just give him the bonus anyway.
100%.
Straight away he wants to leave. Right? So it creates a bigger storm than it should have, right? Because from more reports, like I don't know too much about the kid. Just 19 games and then rest him for the 20th. Like, can you blame the kid for being disgruntled and wanting to move on?
100%.
You know?
Because you're trying to build a culture at that club and you want to look after, especially your younger players.
Like I said, he'd be on minimum wage and it's $40,000. Gets taxed on that, he probably gets 20. You know, like,
yeah.
Look after your players, you know, and I guarantee you that it's going to have a snowball effect on the people that are around that kid, wondering, hey, if they're going to do it to him, imagine what he'd do to me, you know, for $40,000. Like that's poor form from the Titans, man. Like really poor form. I
Disappointing too, because there was definitely glimpses of a good year there. That they showed some really bit of promise.
Like he couldn't have been going that bad if they played him 19 straight and then rest him for his. Well, we're going to rest you for your 20. Yeah, no, we wanted to rest you. No, you didn't. It was 40 grand that you had to fucking $40,000. Like, come on.
To a club, it's not a lot of money. And to a person,
to a kid,
to a kid, it's a lot of money.
To a kid, you know, who's busted his ass, who's, you know, always wanted to play first grade, made his family proud, plays 19 games straight. I'm going to get a bonus. Oh, we're going to rest you, kid. Fuck off. That's poor form from the Titans. Oh. I hope he ends up at a club that appreciates him and just really shows what they've missed out on.
I think the Dogs are front runners.
Well, hopefully the Dogs sign him. You know, that it's just poor form. Like even if you're a club, even if you paid 17 straight, 16 straight, and his bonus was 20, it's a conversation to have with the board and the higher powers and say, hey, look, this kid's like let's look after him.
Yeah, let's
look after him. You know? So I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he finds a club that appreciates him.
Definitely. Bit of a signing. I mean, BA's player Lachie Ilias off to the Dragons. Yeah, it's been confirmed now.
Yeah, good. I'm stoked for Lachie. He's such a great kid. Had that horrific injury at the back end of that last year. Look, I'm friends with a lot of South supporters, and I look at Lachie and I see the potential in Lachie. Whereas my friends that are South supporters, they just want to win. Oh, it's no big, blah, blah, blah. They have a different
scapegoat too.
No, they don't want a scapegoat. They've just got a different opinion of him as a player. Not a massive, because they go from Reynolds to Lachie. Lachie struggles. You think about the spine he had to play behind. He had Cookie, senior player, Latrell, and Cody all demand the ball. And then you had Lachie trying to fill Reynolds' shoes. He was always going to struggle to develop as a half. But I loved his style. Like he look, let's not get things twisted. He had a rough year.
Yeah,
his kicking game was off. Defensively strong, played square, dropped the ball, played really square, but just dropped the ball in crucial moments.
How different, and I only know from like a park level playing footy. How different can your kicking game be when you're playing confident to unconfident?
Oh, you shank him all the time.
It's like a golf swing.
Absolutely, you know, and like I just said, he played behind a New South Wales spine. You know, like he's.
And see, I think some people look at that and go, "Well, look at the spine he got to play with, and he couldn't perform." It can go the complete flip, especially when you've got two such dominant players requesting like Latrell and Cody.
Yeah.
And then them being out of form, which means they're demanding the ball at different times.
Mm-hmm.
And you're meant to be the game controller. Because like Cody's, I still don't think Cody's a game controller.
Yeah, look, I think
he's at his best when someone's controlling the ball and he just gets to play off the cuff and he gets to link up with Trell and do what he does.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, he was a scapegoat at the end, and I made my feelings pretty vocal when they first got rid of him. We spoke about it in far earlier podcasts, but I'm glad. I'm really happy for Lachie.
I like that Cookie's come out and not defended him, but kind of just said, things certainly didn't go his way to South, and he wasn't given the opportunity to show his full potential.
I don't think he was. I don't think JD was the right coach for him. Look, they went and signed Dodds. Wayne was in a position where, look, they need some money somewhere, right? They've missed out on that Fijian side as their pathways. They need to sign. They need money somewhere. You know, the Fijian is signed with the Dogs now. Fijian Rugby League signed with the Dogs, so that's their feeder club. That's a huge loss for South, because now that the South juniors are dying a fair bit, they're going to have to go out and spend money in certain areas. So they had to save money somewhere. They weren't just going to get rid of Dodds. I think if Dodds wasn't there, they would have persisted with Lachie, and I think under Wayne he would have developed perfectly. I'm sure he would have had Wayne in the first year.
He's great, he's a very good defender.
Yeah.
As you said, Sen Square. Do you reckon in time he could be a hooker?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, let's just see how he goes at half. He needs to just develop as a half. I think Flanagan will do a great job for him at the Dragons.
So it's him. So it's going to be him and Cole Flanagan, the two halves.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
and that takes pressure off him to be able to control the game. What Flanagan does well, Cole Flanagan, right? He does control the game well. He sometimes he just doesn't have a running game.
No, it doesn't.
If he develops more of a running game, it just gives Lockie an opportunity to settle into the club, control what he needs to control, maybe and have a bit more authority over the ball with Cookie as well. You know, like he just.
Well, it'd be good that he's already had that connection with Cookie as well.
And he's got Gutho as well. So Gutho, a great leader. Yeah. You know, he's going to be able to say to Lockie, this is where I want the ball. This is what sort of opportunities I need to. This is what I like as a fullback. You know, we want to play a sit. I want a short side here. I want to play the long side here. So I think it's just a breath of fresh air for Lockie. He's just, he could practice his kicking game. He's come back from a horrific injury. And I know he didn't want to leave South, but to go to the Dragons, to go anywhere really, I would have loved him at the Dogs at some point, but Sexton sort of came on.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely, there was obviously huge raps on him when he was young. And I think...
Yeah. I just feel like any half coming through with Cody, Latrell and Cookie inside you, and it's not to shit on them three.
No.
They are very, very talented fucking players that it'd be hard for any young half to try and demand the ball and tell Latrell where to go, tell Cody where to go, Cookie, I want the ball now, to demand the ball. So
you'd almost need a bit of a good sense of ego to be able to do it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it would have been hard for him to walk into a room and any sort of training session and try and be the boss, be the dominant half. So it's a good start for him, and I'm happy for Lockie.
We'll just stay on it quickly though. Atkinson, obviously, he's had a great season at the Sharks. He's got one more season there. They've signed him on a 3-year deal.
Dragons
for 2026. So it's going to be interesting to see with what happens there, as you've got Flanagan, coach's son, you've got Ilias, and then you've got Atkinson, he's an all-out half.
Potential
half
9. Cookie's get a bit older.
Well, this is where I thought maybe that's where Ilias slots into 9 moving forward. I've just thought maybe, like you said, we never got to see the best of him at South. No doubt. Never got to play his confidence. Demetria, their club was fucked. Like, South have had they finished second last.
Yeah. I think
I feel really bad for all my South fans.
I think Cronulla have dropped the ball maybe a little bit on this one.
Huge.
But again,
good signing for Dragons.
Great signing for the Dragons, but
interesting to see what they do after this year.
The big thing for Sharks here is if Hines doesn't have another good year and they let Atkinson go.
Mate, it's massive.
That's the pressure they put themselves under.
Trindle really stepped up at the end of last year, which was huge. Hence why. But there was talk of putting him back to fullback, Hines. But
he doesn't have that game breaking speed like a Pappenhausen or
Hammer.
Who? Hammer. The Hammer, right? So like for like, you just put in. But this is the thing: Atkinson's price would have went up because people see potential, and Sharks probably couldn't match it.
Yeah,
and that is the risk and the coin toss that they've had to make. Fitzy's probably gone, I'm going to back my premier marquee player in Nico, and he's going to perform, and no one's going to ask any questions. But for Nico, if he doesn't have a good year and they lose in Atkinson, then they've dropped the ball. So it's a great signing for the Dragons. Let's not get too much into that. There's a whole nother year. But I think Sharks have put themselves under pressure by letting them go.
Just another little extension. I thought he did have an incredible season. I think it's good he's not playing rep football, but a club that does show loyalty to a lot of their good players is the Roosters, and they've re-signed Teddy.
Yeah, great. Well, he's playing great footy. One of the best years he's had.
He went close again. He was not far off Daley. Yeah.
Hey, Teddy still doesn't look like he doesn't look tired,
No, well, I think not playing rep footy was a big thing.
I think his style of rep football is he was just past his best in rep football. I think Queensland's seen enough of what Teddy is going to do, that we needed to do something different. And obviously, Edwards was just knocking at the door, and he had to.
Yeah,
and
it was time for the changing of the guard.
It was time, but in terms of club footy,
probably polite. It might have even now that he's not playing for Australia and he only played the one New South Wales game due to Dingo being injured. It's almost prolonged, maybe giving him an extra year of footy.
Yeah. So how did he extend for 1 year?
I don't know if it was 1 or 2. I haven't.
But anyway, it's great,
and it's a good. It shows like certain clubs do show loyalty to their players, and especially their captains and their good players, and that's one thing Nick is big on, is loyalty.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown any signs of slowing up.
No, he's lost a yard, maybe half a yard of pace, but not good.
But his strength, like his core strength's like one of the best, like
freakish.
Very similar to a mini. Like he was just very hard to tackle, breaks tackles, good carries on the 4th and 5th, quick play of the balls, positional play.
Does the 1%ers right?
He does everything good, and he's
talk about Mini. How fucking fit is? I see Mini got to be. He's
always been fit, man. He used to train with I can't even remember, but he did a few sessions in Bondi with this guy, and he's like obviously did gymnastics when he was younger, so he's got that he'd have the most flexible spine there is, you know what I mean?
He had that back injury, didn't he?
He nearly had to retire.
But then it almost, by having that time off in the middle of his career, I think it prolonged his career later and it taught him to look after himself better.
He changed his diet, and he was training with a guy that did a lot of functional movement before anyone else was doing functional movement in Bondi Junction. And the name escapes me, but I did a few sessions with him, and he got back into his gymnastics, and that prolonged his career again and fixed his back. And
that's one thing that's changed a lot now, though, functional training.
Well, it's been around for a while now, but this is the thing, like especially with rugby league now, given the speed of the game, it's the training methods are going to change positionally. Like they're going to be doing a lot of things different. You do your core foundation training where you just flog, but then there's a lot of different positions now. They're going to have to do different kinds of movements or training methods to suit that particular position. And that's the way the game's developing, and I think that's great.
Now, there's a statement.
A statement.
There's been a statement. I love a good statement. There's a certain club official that come out and said, "We have the best spine in the comp."
Oh, Richo.
Is he a car salesman?
Mate, what's he's, you know what?
He's got the old Datsun and said, "This is a Mercedes."
He's got he's like Daihatsu 180B or whatever it is.
He's just dead set pointed at me and said he's 95 kilos and just couldn't have got anywhere near it.
Yeah, look, he has to keep the sponsors and the fans, everyone excited. There's no doubt they've got a talented spine. Buller is got a lot to learn as a fullback. Great to run the ball, but positional players fullback needs a lot of work. Lockie Galvin, another great talent. A lot of work. Luai, he's a freak, good player. Senior, he deserves the accolades. And Uppy gets the accolades. He's a proven 9. He's in the top echelon of 9s. But the best spine. Come on.
Oh,
Jesus. Richard.
It's got to be one of the best calls I've heard. One of the greatest wrongs. It is. It's a develop. It has the potential
to be the best 9. Spine.
I knew what you meant.
Right, the best 9, the best spine. It has potential to be the best spine, and you build your team around a spine. So I get what he's saying, but come on, Richard, who are you trying to fool? And especially with that fucking beard, I thought, is this bloke gonna just get the beard trimmed? You like Santa Claus.
They're cutting back on excess.
If you're gonna come out and try and sell me something, Richard, at least get a haircut and get your beard. Just get it trimmed or something, bud.
Fucking hell. He's come out with some statements, but that was...
mate, he did a great job at South, and, he just...
I think look,
So
I've
I
been
went Eskimo.
in Cooker the best one. That was an absolute
Really
cracker.
cracker.
Oh, mate, there's one thing. Fuck these. There's talking about statements and just funny things that come out of footy. I think Paul Vautin's retired.
Oh, thank God. About time.
Because
Fatty.
it's funny because I wanted to touch, and it's probably a good transition to the thing I want to talk to you about. But like growing up, like, do you remember being a kid and just watching the footy show?
He's the best.
Like when you think 90s footy, you think to the early 2000s, and I just remember being a kid and watching the footy show. The footy show and Hey It's Saturday. They were like
Dicky Knee.
Dickie Knee.
Mate, he's hilarious, Fatty. The one line he's had over the years, not only just on the footy show, but even with his commentary. Like, he's going to be like a big loss for Channel 9, and especially when like Rabs retired. It was like, oh shit, now Fatty's gone. It's like everything's changing now. You know, you're getting older, and these people that you've grown up with the whole time. So is he retired effective immediately? He's got another year. Hopefully he's got another year, but
No, I think he could be done.
He's done, right?
I think he's done.
Oh well.
He's
been a great servant of the game. He played, obviously a Queensland legend and a great commentator.
Oh, mate.
Some of the skits, back in the day.
But not even just the skits, like just the way he'd look at the camera like this, and he'd look down his piece of paper and go, "What's next?" And you just laugh. Like, could you imagine being that unprofessional and having a TV slot, and you're the flagship show of a multi-$100 million, billion-dollar sport?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I remember one interview he did, I think maybe with Wayne, and he went down and asked him a question like, what about a player, and he was like, he's not playing. And like someone's just, he's done zero homework. But it was just like, mate, the amount of skits that you could come out and just have a laugh with Fatty. Probably, it was like the old show Fast Forward. Like, if you watch Fast Forward in the 90s, 90% of the stuff they did comedy on, you could not play that now. It was, so all the skits that he did back in like the footy show days. Remember Mahatma Coat?
Oh,
mate, the amount, like, everyone looked forward to a Thursday night to watch a footy show. So
even back fucking with Bo Ryan, like Bo knows, and he used to do that on the street. Like, that was him at his best.
Yeah, I know, but remember the yogurt one with Sterlo. Now, look, another legend moves on, and 33 years in TV, man, it's a long time.
Fuck, I'm 34, it's my life.
You got paid 33 years to have fun,
Pretty much, exactly. And keep doing the thing that he loves.
Yeah, mate, he'd have plenty in the bank account.
He would. One thing I do want to say is, like, just on that though, it's been so interesting to see the changing of the guard. I know in content and media, obviously we do this now, and like our viewership from where it started this year to where it is now, I'm so thankful for everyone that watches the show and enjoys it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like the boys at Hello Sport do their version of what it is, and they're funny, and it's great seeing something different. Obviously, May Scope do an incredible job. The buy round.
Bloke.
Yeah, bloke. Like but it's awesome to see.
There's so much content out there now, right?
There is, but
I think what our strength is, I hope, and that why people watch is that we don't break down stats or
because we're not good at math.
I just don't care too much of the fucking post contact meters and kick meters and hang time of the footy, and it's just we give a different perspective on rugby league, hopefully, and give our own views on different parts of the game. I mean, you won't get me. I'll openly admit I will not sit there through Thursday to Sunday and watch every bloody game. But you give me a topic and I'll give you an opinion. So it's been fun. Couple more weeks and we have a Christmas break, right?
We're going to have a little Christmas break. We've got a couple of little interviews coming up in the next few weeks. And then we'll rip into I think we'll probably do something similar. We'll do a few more interviews going into the season, and then we'll probably look at obviously doing a bit of preview.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the main preview that you'll see from us, I think, but we'll discuss that. But anything that I think people want to see, let us know, right? It's stuff that you're interested in, stuff you want to hear from you, betting stuff from me if you want it. But
where I'm going to be out this weekend or next weekend.
Mate, talking about being out, our mate Little Bazzy,
he's
one, I call him VB hard earned, because when he rocks down at the PAV, I've never seen a bloke that takes that many hit ups at the bar in the space of the time that he does.
Yeah, right.
He's the VB hard earned.
I need to spend time with him.
I don't. I can't keep up. He gets sagging sway legs. I like to play 80 minutes.
I can play 80. I can go in an extra time. See you next week, brother.
See you, bro.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.